We try to make things so stinking hard and complicated. It's not as hard as we think it is, right? Simplifying what you do and focusing like a laser on what matters. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast. We're trying to level up, my friends. This is not for the newbies. This is not for people that are happy where they're at. This is for people that want to get after it and get better. 3 nuggets of wisdom, might be a bonus nugget in there. You need to listen to this. Gain the perspective. It's taken me 13 years to get, and you get it all. One lump sum, one episode, coming at you hot today. We have the closing thought of the episode. This is the Ultimate OD Podcast. Here we go. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Been a good week. Got back from my P3 conference and have some juice. Some big wins. Number one, I was away. I worked Monday. And then I was gone for the rest of the week. And you know what happened? My office still saw patients and we had revenue coming in. That's amazing. One of the coolest things ever. I kid you not, 13 years in, and I finally had another associate doctor there seeing patients. And I don't know what took me so long to get there. Now, I'll explain some more things about associate doctors and such later in the podcast, but it's amazing. It's a business. A job is where if you don't work, you don't get paid. A business is where if you don't work, it still happens. Money's still coming in. It's still a business. It's awesome. So, cool perspective. We're now a month into the new office space, starting to get our feet underneath us, get some momentum. Crazy thing, and you got to expect this to happen because why wouldn't it? We started October 14th, and slowest month I think I felt like of the year was October. Like we get in there, have a new doctor, new space, staffed up, and slow. But I'll tell you that after the open house, we've been crazy busy as of late, which is cool. Almost like some of the people we were doing a bunch of marketing, putting out there that we were starting a new or moving. Like people were holding back, waiting to get to the new office, and then they didn't really know we were open until we had the open house. It was just an odd dynamic, but much better being busy. I'll tell you that right now. New doctors starting to get some traction. We're marketing like crazy to try and build that up. It's awesome. So it's a lot of work ahead, but I am focused and ready to go. What I'm going to talk about today is it was going to be 3 things, but I have a bonus thing for you I just picked up on today. 3 things I took away from my P3 meeting that I think it's wisdom I want to share with you now, right? It took me 13 years to get this wisdom, and if I can plant the seed to get you there quicker, I think I'm doing my job of helping us grow and be better practice owners. When I went to my first meeting last spring, it was just my P3 group, and that's offices that are doing like $1 to like maybe $4 million ish, roughly, and probably 1 to 3, I would say, in gross revenue. And we got to meet, collaborate, and share ideas. It was a good meeting. It gave me a lot of juice. I had a lot of big wins, right? This meeting was OptiPort and P3. And OptiPort, you have to have 4 doors or more, and just big stinking offices. Really cool. Like big dogs in the industry that have walked the walk, have put in their dues, and run big, thriving, multi-location offices, right? Well, they had their meetings, their mastermind sessions on Tuesday. On Wednesday, it's all of us as a group. We take classes, learn together, and then Thursday, I have my mastermind group with my colleagues, my fellow peers that are in the same-ish level that I'm at. And the Wednesday, we had a lot of meetings, and it was interesting. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. I mean, we had an economist talking about the economy, where things are going to be in the next 5 years. people coming in and talking about things that are disrupting the industry. What's on the horizon? How can you proactively prepare for these disruptors that are coming into the industry? And like technology companies like the Ray-Ban glasses that have the hearing on them, like hearing innovate. It's just crazy stuff. And I got talking to some of these big practice owners, and I just shared like the difference in their mentality versus mine is right now I left and I'm like, oh, what's our use it or lose it campaign going to be? What are we going to do on Monday? They don't care about those things. They don't care about Monday. They're thinking 5-10 years down the road, and they're putting their practices in a position to be thriving and successful at that time. That's the visionary, the CEO mindset. And it was just a perspective change because I never really got it. And I've tried, if you listen to the podcast over the past, 2 years, 3 years, to figure out what it means to be the CEO of your business, to work on the business, not in the business. And that was like, boom, right? It clicked. That's the mentality that I need to start having to grow my practice. And I think I've done a really good job of building the Dry Eye Center, focusing on ocular health and wellness, disease management, setting up the practice the way I have. We're positioned to do those things, and I'm pumped. Like it worked out. The vision is becoming a reality. So cool there. Next thing, number 2. I noticed this when I first went to my first major conference, Vision Expo West. And then I went to my first P3 meeting. You go to these meetings and everything is a new, amazing idea that you can make a huge impact with your office. Like I put static frame board management in place. We're pre-appointing. We changed how we build and price things. Like it was huge things. And we've grown like 10, 12%, in the past 6 months, right? And I credit a ton of that to the changes I made from that meeting. Same thing when I went to that Vision Expo West. A bunch of things I brought back, and my staff would get to the point of like, oh, he's going to a meeting. We have a bunch of changes on the horizon. What happened after my first few Vision Expos is I come back and there wasn't as many big changes. And even after this one meeting, I have some big goals, big things I'm trying to do, and I put it out there. I explained it to my cohort, and there wasn't a magic pill. There were no easy wins, and that's what sucks about growth and getting to that top elite level. And I'm not there by any means. I'm not saying that I'm there, but I want to get to that point. And it's a bunch of hard, stinking work and getting 1% better. And those things will accumulate and make you the practice you want to be. Because honestly, the biggest thing I took away is to get to the next level, I need to have a better system and process in place to run my business. Like you've heard, there's a million different things that you can do. One of them that's very popular is EOS, traction, the entrepreneurial operating system. Gino Wickman, it's a book. I've read it. I've tried to loosely implement some of the stuff. I'm going to go all in. I'll share my journey with you in the next 6 weeks, or 6 months, going through and trying to really implement that. I've made time in my schedule. Thursday afternoons and Fridays, I'm not seeing patients, and now I have something to do. I would have never been able to do this had I not made that time. So let's see if I can make my practice that much better. Okay? And the other thing is simplification. We try to make things so stinking hard and complicated. It's not as hard as we think it is. Right? Simplifying what you do and focusing like a laser on what matters. Okay? Those are the 2 first things that popped in my mind. Number 3, good and bad. To a T, pretty much every single office I talk to there has staffing issues of some way, shape, or form. Right? We all are dealing with staffing issues. The difference between my staffing issue And the bigger practice's staffing issue is mine was usually my support staff, people that supported me. As you move up levels, a lot of my colleagues were having trouble with associates, like flaking out, not buying into the vision, not operating the way they wanted to. And the doctor is in this weird point of being where I was and where I want to go. And like, do I just buckle down and I'll see all the patients, or do I delegate? How do I do this? What's that fine line? And it was awesome perspective for me to see what's ahead. If I want to build the monster that I keep talking about, the 10 million in 10 years, to get big and aggressive, this is the walk, the path that I'm going down, right? And the old me, the old person would have looked at me like, nope, that's too much. That's a headache I don't want. But again, something clicked, right? Something just went off in my head. And I'm like, you know what? I guarantee I'll figure it out. I can do this. I don't know why I believe in that. I believe in myself, and I can figure that crap out. It's fun. I love working with the staff. I love working with the other doctor. It is so awesome to be able to share wisdom, learn from each other, and get better. And I just think I can do it at that high stinking level. And I know that even if I resisted it, I'd get to a certain point where I'm at now, I'd max it out. And I know I'm going to get bored, right? I'm going to be like, oh, what's the next level? So I'm not even fighting it anymore. I'm just going to max out what I want to do right now. I have a plan for bringing in the next steps and then growing the stinking practice. I'll just deal with it as it goes. And I think that that's the fun. That's the journey. I was talking to the mentor of the group, the lead, the facilitator, right? And Dr. Julie Helmus, awesome person, awesome doctor, incredibly intelligent, hungry, always trying to get better. I love the game she plays because she is in there to get as much info, wisdom, share. She is not proud by any means, right? She will take anything and get better. And I love that. But I was talking to her and kind of like our background, my background that led me here. And she's like, I get you so much more now. And I was talking about how, like, in football, growing up, I love the off season, the work you put in to get to the season. And she's like, you like the grind. You like to get in there and do that. I'm like, I guess I stinking do. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that I took for granted, but not a lot of people can handle that much pain consistently every day, right? That's why this isn't for everyone. Growth, the ambition isn't for everyone because that pain can tear you apart. Like me starting this new office with the other doctor, I had a good 6-week period where you track on your Garmin watch, your HRV plummeted, not sleeping well at all, stress, anxiety. And I still have stress and anxiety when I look at the bills that need to be paid, but it's normal now, right? What's the next step? I know it's going to work out, right? But that's fun, right? Those were the 3 big things. Now, this last one, I will tell you this. This is the coolest thing ever. I've said this, I believe it, but you don't really know it until you're there, is that everyone wants feedback, but no one wants to smoke. No one wants to be told what they could do better, what is a difference in opinion, right? That's one of the problems with our country is like we are so ingrained in the way we think, no one wants to see the other side. And me and my associate, my coworker, once a week, we talk all the time. I love our back and forth. I love bouncing ideas off her head, her perspective that she brings. I hope I bring something to the table as well. But we have Wednesdays from 1 to 2. We sit down and we just talk shop. We'll bring a case in. We'll break each other down like a grand round style. We did today. We talked about our dry eye protocol, what our philosophies were, what we do, what we could have done differently, and we'll take each other's patients and kind of break them down, go after it, and that's fun. And then she being here for a month, we have different philosophies and how we kind of care for our patients. Not that we're so far off, but everyone does it, has a different flavor, right? And, you know, the thing I admire and love about her is she is not afraid to put it out there. Have that awkward conversation. Let's have that. Now, I've given her feedback too, and the best part about her, she is open, will take any kind of criticism, any kind of feedback, and always puts it in a positive light. Hard on herself. And we had this conversation, and going back and forth ideas, and at the end of the day, I could tell she was kind of like, hey, good vibes, like nothing but whatnot. And I go, no, I love that conversation. Iron sharpens iron. I love that I have now someone that can hold me accountable. That's what that P3 group does for me. But on a daily basis, I have another doctor that is there to hold me accountable. I'm hoping I'm holding her accountable, right? We will make each other better by not accepting the status quo, putting out new ideas and pushing each other to be better. And that's amazing. That's the environment I want to work in, right? I love that you got to bring it and justify your stance. And again, we're not always going to agree on everything, but the fact that we're a month in and we can have these conversations, and at the end of the day, know that we're both trying to get better, that we're both, good doctors, and we're going to do what we do. But a rising tide raises all ships. And that is one of the coolest things about how far I've come. Because in the past, I will tell you, a conversation like that, I would have been like, forget that. I've done this. Look what I've built. I have no pride right now. Dr. Julie Helmuth taught me this. All those doctors at P3 that are bigger, better, and more polished than I am would gladly sit and have a conversation with me and try to take a nugget or two from anything I can offer. They're always trying to get better. They don't care who it's coming from. And that's the mentality I'm trying to adopt. And I like that. I want to be in an office where no one has feelings, right? You don't get hurt. We're not disrespectful by any means, but you have an opinion, you have something, you put it out there, and we'll get better from it. So that's the environment I've been hoping, dreaming, wanting to cultivate. I've always thought I've been good. The fact that I can create that in my own office right now, amazing, right? So those are the things that I think are high level, big picture things that make your office better, that bring you to the next level, that help you be the best doctor you possibly can be. And a lot of it comes down to accountability. Being able to look yourself in the mirror and know who you are and get feedback, honest, straightforward feedback on whatever you're doing. How you manage the patient, what you could have done better, how you run your practice, what are things that you could do better. It's really hard when you go into a meeting and you say, this is what I'm charging for this, and they look at you in the face and be like, really? We're charging 4 times as much as you. And I kid you not, some of the things that people are doing are 4 times higher than what I charge. They're like, why are you not doing this? And I'm like, I don't have a good answer for you because I'm afraid. I'm a wimp, right? I just, let worry dictate and not do what I'm worth, right? So have accountability partners. See the big picture. Be the CEO of your practice. Don't think small. Don't think short term. I mean, you have to an extent, right? It's a season that a lot of us are in, but try to evolve and get better. No magic pills, my friends. Gotta find that system, the process that will allow you to scale, that is repeatable at different levels. And then we all have issues. How much pain can you handle? That's what I have for you. I have more for you next week. Where has the time gone? We're to the closing thought of the episode, and I heard a podcast today, and there's a couple bits of wisdom that I want to share. Not one closing thought, but a couple. Number one, we often get in this position where we're private practice owners, where we're doctors, and we want to do what we feel we deserve, right? Like, perfect example. Last night, I was tired. It was a busy day, laying on the floor, looking at my phone, and I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I had a long day. I deserve to go to bed, right? And I said, hey, I'm going to bed. And my wife looks at me like, I thought you had work to do. And I'm like, well, you just ruined that for me. She's like, what? No, go to bed. If you had a long day, wouldn't I? I'm like, nope. You've ruined that for me, but she was right. And I got my lazy butt off the ground, set up my computer, and did the work that was necessary. You know what? Once I got going and started going, it's what I needed to do. I enjoyed it, right? Put on a little Tom Petty radio and just knocked out some work. And my conversation, my meetings were all better because I did the work that was necessary, right? We deserve a lot of things, but have you earned them? Right? That's what I ask. Like, I deserve this beer. I deserve to go out here. I deserve to do this. At what cost? Right? You deserve a lot of things and you can do those things, but what is the cost? What is the price you're going to pay? Have you earned what you think you deserve? All right? Following up with that, the comment was, you have to believe it will work, honor the fear that it won't, and do the work necessary to get to where you want to be. That's what I got for you guys. Dr. Lily out.